There is a main channel whose depth averages over 100 feet, the deepest part being over 300. But the vast majority of the river's area is by comparison very shallow. I'd love to know his experience. 20 years? So this has been 20 years now. 20 years? 20 years. He's seen much change in the river in 20 years? How much? Basic change is going to get here. Change is going to before it was this one, that was too much. Now it's too low, sir, the water level. And it's staying low. It means we think that less water is coming from the mountain.
Yes, sir.
With the driver's experience of the different communities that live on the islands in the river, is he familiar with some village, some episode where has he ever had to rescue anyone from when the water is rising on the islands?
Sir, he's saying that in case of such emergency, sir, they used to rescue, they used to come there by taking their own boat. And in case if there is engine failure in their boat, then they will call another boat. Those people who are living inside the island, they used to have their own boat. That one, not an engine driven one.
Things that has become clear from our talking to the captain is that in his experience, which is 20 years, he said that the water level doesn't rise nearly as high as it has. It continues, the height of the water is always less on each successive years, which means that these islands won't always be inundated in the summer months when the snow melts in the Himalayas, so that more people will be moving onto the islands because they can, because that's exactly what happens. Over the centuries, its course has constantly shifted and changed. Actually, the river is never in the same place in any 2 consecutive years. It was one of these course changes that created the island of Majuli. Although critical to the agriculture along its banks, the river is of greater importance for transportation. In speaking with the captain, he confirmed my suspicion that the trip across is different almost every single time. Because the water is moving very quickly in here, the bottom changes. So what he's really looking for is he really steers by the currents. I talked to one of the passengers that takes the trip on a regular basis, and he said he's never actually gone this way before. So this guy really knows what he's doing. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We are, after all, in Assam, so guess what this is. But who could have expected on such a luxurious yacht that we would have first-class service? This is a shallow river throughout. Not very far over here to starboard is another ferry that's actually gone aground, and we can tell because there's a guy that's out of the boat and standing in waist-deep water. It requires some genuine navigational skills, because as the water level rises and falls, there's also a hell of a lot of silt that's deposited and redeposited in different places, meaning that the channels are never the same. If you take a look, as we've done from an aerial perspective at the Brahmaputra, it's not a body of water that goes from one bank to the other. There are a number of islands all through the middle, and it's quite wide. In fact, places where you can't see one shore from the other. Of those islands, the seasonal change from the snow melt, the water rises as much as 2 meters, in which case many of the islands that are visible right now will actually disappear. They won't be there. So we've been told there are about a total of 500 islands on this end that are inhabited, and many of those the inhabitants have to leave when the water rises.